Okay, well, it's time to have a bit more of a thorough pick through this pile of computer junk. Started powering up the monitor and that seems to work, or TV. It might be an intermittent fault, maybe when it gets hot, it might be a power supply issue. It's a shame it's so scratched because it'd make a nice monitor, but it's fairly well knackered. But everything seems to work. I'll just have to see if the signal process is still alright. That's one thing that tricked me with a TIAC flat panel TV that I found. It looked fine when it had the menu and everything up, but as soon as you brought up a picture, all the colours and everything were wrong. Like, it was all scrambled. I've still got to pull the board out of that and have another shot at repairing it, but I've got a feeling it's fried. But yeah, you can see the scratches and marks on it from being chucked in the junk pile. Apart from that, this thing would have been fine. Probably at least easily repairable. So yeah, good test monitor. That's about it. I wouldn't use it for a day-to-day monitor. Just keep it around the shop for testing, just like the TIAC television. It's good for load testing UPS units. I could probably run this one and the other one off some of the UPS units and just do a quick load test, that sort of thing. Just handy having a display panel around, especially a small one you can carry. It's a bit hard when you got to move something around to a big plasma TV or something. So that's good. I'll do a full test run on that one and see how long it holds out. Might even take the back off and just get some of the dirt out of it, because it's fairly full of dirt from being at the junkyard. Model, it is a L172WT, so it's a 17 inch. It is a bit smaller than I thought, but that's alright. It's got composite digital TV tuner built in and DVI, so it's not too bad. Plus there's a few other ports here. Audio, right, left, video, so there's an auxiliary AV and microphone and speaker headphones. It's got to find a way to mount it up on a stand. There's no stand for it, but it's got these little rubber standoffs as well as the standard mounting bracket pattern for monitor backing panels. Doesn't look like it ever had a stand on it. I'd say they had it mounted on a grid system, set up with multiple displays. Something like that, a wall bracket. Anyway, I guess I better set that one aside and move on to these two. The laptops will autopsy in separate videos. There's not really much point in keeping them. They're pretty well smashed or just so old they're completely obsolete. But these two here, we'll see what salvageables are in there for tonight. Okay, let's see what happens when I turn the power on. The monitor's set up and in standby. We'll just see what the computer does. This is the Hewlett-Packard. So main's on, I think. I don't know, main breaker. There we go. RAM lights on. This does have a hard drive in it, but it would have taken a hell of a knock when it got dumped out of the bin. Conditions automatically updated. 80 gig Samsung running Unix. You need to configure your system. Okay. Someone put Unix on this thing. I need to plug a keyboard in. I don't know if I can do that hot, but I'll find a keyboard and see what happens. Okay, I just realised it said if you are running Unix, not you are running Unix. So let's find out what it is, even if it even wants to work. There you go, hot plug keyboard, didn't have to restart it. Okay, boot, ROM, messages. If the heads were well parked on the hard drive, it shouldn't have been too bad, but just that initial startup. It is loading though. See how far it gets. I mean, these computers would have taken a hell of a knock when they got thrown out of that bin, or tipped out. I should have grabbed more of them. There was a few more there, I just had to dig for them. It's running XP Pro, preparing network. There is no network. That's about all this thing would be good for, as a network box. Username Barry, log on to DJM. Cancel, no. Inspections, no. Generic password, nope. Won't let me. I remember when Windows used to ask me to log on, I just press escape and it would log me on anyway. But I think I was running Windows 98 first edition. Oh, there we go. Just press OK with no password and it worked. I guess you didn't have a password. You generally don't for a home office thing. I don't run passwords on my PCs, even though I probably should, but it just takes ages to set everything up. Well, funny thing is that might have been well and truly beat up, but it's working. Inspection, oh, hang on. I don't know. This guy must have been a firefighter. Fire prone requests, bushfire attack level report, inspections. I'd say this guy was a fiery. I don't normally like poking through people's personal stuff, but that's sort of the risk you take when you dump a computer at the scrapyard like this. I'm not going to go too carried away, we'll just see what's under the start menu. Barry Bouquet, okay. Programs, any games? That's it. Windows generic games, Office. It's running Office 2003, WinDVD, Windows Live. It wouldn't surprise me if it's even saved his Windows Live password in there. I know a lot of people have a go at me for telling people to smash old hard drives, but not everyone knows how to use DBAN like we do. The people, when I say we, people who actually know how to salvage and repair computers. Your average Joe Bloggs who gets rid of his computer like this, especially if it's died, if the computer itself is dead and the hard drive's still good, how are they going to DBAN it when they buy a whole new computer or replace it with a laptop that they can't even plug the hard drive into? I mean, they're not going to get, they probably don't even know that they can get an adapter. The computer shop's going to charge them $100 just to copy all the shit across, so they just throw it out on the street. You're better off taking that hard drive out and take to it with a hammer rather than risk stuff falling into other people's hands, because I can already see documents on the desktop which may contain pertinent information for something else. I mean, some of this stuff's dated 2009, so it's well and truly old, but yeah. Hard drives are cheap. I don't care if you reckon any old hard drive's salvageable, they're still cheap, and they're everywhere. There was about 50 of them in the scrap pile. Okay, they've all been beat up, and most of them were drowning in muck, but they're everywhere. So yeah, don't get too cut up about a few people destroying hard drives to protect their data. It's the best way to do it. I mean, I know somebody with a really high level scanner or something CIA grade could easily scan the magnetic discs with a handheld scanner and pick up packets of data. But your average Joe like me can't just plug a smashed hard drive in and pull data off it. There's no way. I've got nothing, and I don't know anyone who has something which can recover data from a smashed hard drive. It'd cost a lot of money to send it away and have it recovered, only to find out it's all just crap. So yeah, if you can DBAN it and know what to do to fully wipe it and then sell it as a usable item, fine. But if your computer's dead and you just bought a laptop or something and you don't know how or can't be bothered recovering or destroying all the data on it by reasonable means like using software and then selling the used hard drive or giving it away, just take it out and smash it. It doesn't hurt. Hard drives are everywhere. I've got more hard drives than I know what to do with. They're not even that big though. They're like 10 gig, 20 gig, maybe a few 40s and 80s. The 80s I'll keep, and even then IDE is becoming so obsolete it's not funny, so things like this SATA hard drive, which is obviously probably reasonably well survived that crash, the fall, sort of worth keeping. It is an 80 gig, so yeah, we'll see how long this thing runs for. I'll just wipe all the other shit off it, clean up Windows and just use it as it is. Just don't put anything important on it. So yeah, I guess we better move on to the other computer. But yeah, don't cry over smashed hard drives. Hard drives are just inanimate objects. Like USB drives. I bought an 8 gig USB drive for $9.95, made by Toshiba. You can't beat that. 8 gig for $9.95, it's just ridiculous. And there's virtually nothing on this computer. There's several network drives and things referenced, but obviously not accessible because it's not on its original network. But the original hard drive only has 17 gig used. There's nothing under my documents, a few risk assessments, and which is what the fire stuff was. It was just a risk assessment for a building proposition. That's all there is on this computer, is just one set of documents for a basic building application for one area I've never even heard of. So there's really nothing on it. It's still got 56 gig left, 56.7 gigabytes, so I wouldn't really trust this hard drive with anything too serious given the damage this thing's taken, but just as a little jukebox PC for browsing YouTube, this thing will work perfectly. It's a Pentium 4, 3 gigahertz, running at 2.39 gigahertz, 5 half gig RAM, not much too special. Yeah, it's got 1, 2, 3 RAM slots in it. What's the blue one? Looks different. It's got 2 different types of RAM. Oh no. No, they're the same type, it just accepts 3 sticks. The 4th slot isn't even soldered to the board, it's not there. Oh. I've got some old RAM floating around I could chuck in it. Increase the RAM. I can't upgrade the graphics on it because, well, it's only got a PCI slot in there. There isn't even the option of an AGP or PCI Express, so stuck with the onboard VGA. But apart from that, I could pretty much just make a few brackets and bolt this thing to the wall next to the other one and use this display panel. This one here is a Celeron D. It might be a little bit better, but again, we'll see what happens. Might even be able to take that chip and put it in this one. The board's probably very similar. I think it's a socket 755 or 775, whatever you call it. It's been a while since I've actually done full research on computers. It's got a 6-pin power dongle for the CPU there. Yeah. SATA hard drive, obviously. Single SATA port. There's provision for another one, but it's not even soldered to the board. Single hard drive only. It's not a bare bones system, but it'd work. Yeah, looks clean enough. Doesn't look like it's ever been used. Oh well, I'll see how long this one lasts. I won't invest any real time or money in it, that's for sure, but it's not bad for something that's been taking a tumble out of a scrap bin. I guess I better move on to this one, see what it does. Okay, next PC. Definitely a workstation with no CD-ROM drive in it. First problem I found was that. CPU fan don't work when the cable's sitting on it. I bet you it's been like that for a while, because it wants to sit down, especially with the case cover on, it just pushes it down and blocks the fan. So that's no good. I can hide down there. If it hasn't already cooked the CPU and its BGA pin mounting, let's see what happens. It's got a 40 gig Barracuda 7200 in it, old school IDE drive. Oh, I guess I better get some power and a monitor onto it and see what happens. Okay, let's see what this one does. Hello, are you alive in there? Oh, hang on. That might help. Nope. Mains and everything's on. I think it's dead. Oh. I think that power supply just went pop. RAM light's on. What's sizzling? Well, something went pop and now there's sizzling. Ooh. AC frequency coming through the speaker. That's not good. And the fan's changing speed. Well, it's trying to work. Never mind the pops and bangs. I don't know, it's AC frequency coming off ground. That's what that is. It's kind of funny how it went pop. Well, we've gotten this far, and so far no more magic smoke. I think I have to reboot it for it to recognise the keyboard. Damn it. No BIOS screen. Nothing. I wonder if there's a jumper option to enable that. I doubt it though. It won't let me. MMPS. Can't remember what that is. Yeah, it's just a workstation, hence why there's no CD-ROM or anything in it. Maybe an ex-school computer or something like that. Either way, I think this one's going to be parts unit since it's a bit, well, crap. Well, it does have a PCIe slot on the board. I guess the main board shouldn't be too bad, but the power supply made a nasty sounding pop and a hiss. So it can't be too far off. Yeah, I'll see if anyone wants the board. And scavenge the fans and things out of the case and everything. The rest of it's pretty much crap. These cases are terrible. So, yeah. Anywho, that sort of solves that one. Thanks for watching.